That's the start of the whole controversy, wasn't it? So Special was playing in both Europe and North America from Korea. He lives in Korea. Plays from Korea. Doesn't take a jet to North America to play on the server. But he asked about the rulings, and I mean, yeah, you guys are gonna have to look at all the Reddit threads yourself, but there is a fair server ruling that's actually being used where if he has terrible ping to Europe and MaNa had less terrible ping to, let's say, North America Central or something like that, then they would play on North America Central, which actually happened yesterday and caused some, you know, there's a controversy. Yeah, that's what it was. Straight up controversy, man. More drama in Starcraft. So that's how it is. So MaNa actually, I think in this qualifier, lost the Special. That's why he's in the losers bracket. Waiting until today to face his opponent, which ended up being Neeb. Speaking of which, brand new best of 3. Top right, as the red Protoss, we have MaNa. In the bottom left is the blue Protoss. That is Neeb. Neeb already warmed up for PvP. Waking up nice and early to get his practice in. It's East Coast America, so the ping to Europe's not too bad. And the time's not too bad either, but if you wanted to get any practice in, waking up at 9 in the morning, man. Young people don't do that when given the opportunity. The admin was actually talking a little bit about that. We got talking about the general age of viewers in StarCraft. General age of viewer is definitely more in the one of the older esports, so a lot of our viewers are older. But as far as the players go, for North America especially, the North American players are still ranging around 18 to 24. I mean, Europe's still pretty young too. Even though we've been watching someone like MaNa for a long time, he's actually not that old. 25, something like that. Which is no longer old in esports terms. 10 years ago, that's already ancient, all right? And Nestea was actually just basically dead, all right, as old as he was. It's shocking he did as well as he did. No. Once again, Everdream providing a Nexus versus Nexus PvP, just like the start of Neeb's last PvP. But Neeb is not going for the 6 Adept opener. Actually very conservative, both going Stalker Sentry, and then if you don't think you need to get, like, double Stalker afterwards, you can certainly go into just... I mean, there's different ways to get to the same 6 units, 3 Stalkers and 3 Sentries. But I think there's also ways you can just... You would skip the third Stalker. Just a little bit of a boost there. But regardless, they both are getting to the same amount of units. And neither one really going to be looking for a push. But one is looking for a bigger head start on the macro game. A Forge coming down here. I want to say almost always guarantees the macro. I mean, I don't know any +1 Adept Resonating Glaives timings, but if you're going to do that, why not just get Resonating Glaives and do it without the +1? Oops, sorry, Apollo. But MaNa doing... actually going for a Robo and a Twilight Council, so I was expecting a Robo Forge. Apollo! You cannot help. This is not helping. You are not good observer. Okay, I'm sorry. You can't cast with me either. I just killed a pizza for breakfast. That's living up in quarantine, man. Do it. Oh, no! Neeb just sneaking on 2 Adepts up here. Both of them... Hey, MaNa thought they were doing a gentleman's PvP, alright? This is BS. No, just... Not expecting the 2 extra units come out of the gateways. Seriously, like, when you get those first 6 units, or 5 units, or whatever it is, like, it's pretty common to not use your gateways for a long time. You're building these other things that are much more important, getting you to the later stages of PvP. But to make those extra 2 Adepts did get a surprise on MaNa. Didn't have his probe positioned anymore. And not able to get any type of wall off there. So 5 probes or 2 adepts. Pretty nice, because you're doing... Otherwise, I mean, similar ideas, even though the execution is... Well, actually, hold on here. Not similar ideas. I thought maybe they're both going to go macro, but no, a game is coming down with this blink. So, I mean, he's still going to get perhaps a faster third. Eventually get a forge, but... there is definitely going to be some control coming in here from MaNa, to say the least. He is going for an attack. He's going to be able to bother Neeb. I don't know if he's going to be able to straight up kill him, but definitely bother him. Neeb is going for his own extra production before they're reaching towards that third base, but holding off on charge. I think Twilight Council literally just finished, and then immediately into the Templar Archives, too. Neeb has a scout... Okay, that was weird. Has a scouting... Okay, so we saw the Twilight Council... Researching, he saw no gases. Does he think this is... I mean, it's possible it's adepts. Whatever it is, it's aggressive, though, and I think he knows that much. But the Stalkers may have been a surprise. He does have units in the main base, so perhaps not, or maybe they're meant to catch a Warp Prism. Either way, at least they're here. Immortal already heavily bruised, however, and these units just... I mean, they're being pushed out by a bunch of sentries. MaNa being very annoying, doing the typical Protoss thing, using his force fields and continuing to warp in. He is dedicating to this. He might have that +1 and potential immortal production, but stuck out of his main now, stuck out of the natural, perhaps. Actually, I don't think there's enough force for that energy. Come on, come on. He has one more. Show it. Okay, there's another one. 4 sentries is enough to continuously do this, but only at 2. He will finally be pushed back. Like I said, I didn't think Neeb would die to this, but man, MaNa made it look really scary. I mean, he almost grabbed the first immortal right off the bat, which I think would have really made a lot of things happen differently in the main base. Like this pylon gets depowered, this forge gets sniped, these probes have to be pulled faster, sooner, that type of thing. Speaking of snipes on immortals, sniped! As I said, Neeb doesn't have charge, but Archon's also pretty darn useful. You might eventually see it. Archon actually can't go up this type of ramp. So he's going to go ahead and risk killing his own gateway. Just that lack of production for it. But is that actually the right call? He does have 6 gateways, so I guess that's worth it. 2 Archons are going to last a long time, especially with any shield battery supporting it. But MaNa is seriously not giving up this aggression, man. But the Archons, beautiful thing about Archons, they break those force fields. And Neeb, if he had just been a little bit quicker to the Templar Archives, which I don't know if it's really possible, but if he had, on a different build, I suppose, been quicker to the Templar Archives, that initial kerfuffle would not have been such an issue. So maybe he did know exactly what MaNa's plan was. He was really thinking 2 steps ahead, just a little bit too late. +2 does start. Charge has started as well. MaNa finally grabs that third base. Later than I thought. He actually went for disruptors faster, perhaps fearful of the army that Neeb was building, realizing he wasn't going to be able to end the game. While he grabbed 1 immortal, he wasn't grabbing much more beyond that. And wanted to protect himself with a swap to disruptors first and foremost, which is probably a smart idea. But he does have disruptors now, and now he's getting the third nexus. Another immortal does get sniped. MaNa. Okay, he's the first one. Not the first one. He was one of the guys to go up against... man, what was it called? Alphabot? Alpha Star? There we go. Alpha Star. And apparently he's learned some things from it. The Observer was being targeted. And then MaNa targeted Neeb's Observer, so very annoying. Back into the main base, depowering +2. Ooh, bit of an Artosis pylon right there. This one just not quite in range. MaNa continuing to pick up, disruptors this time while building up his probe count back at home. Maybe soon, maybe soon. He's focusing on the micro so far. And oh my god! Oh, he's tried to split, but there really was no good split against that. I think those disruptors were a big surprise for Neeb. If they weren't a surprise, it was just really masterful handling from MaNa to put him in such an awkward position on that ramp. You can't... I don't know how you split any better than what Neeb did. I don't think you can. The Stalker numbers have grown to an insane amount. He's got to hope that disruptors kill their own Stalkers. Because Neeb is on a pitiful army supply, and that is going to be it. MaNa with a brutal Stalker attack, but a far more brutal follow-up into those disruptors. I feel like Neeb would have been close to... Neeb would have been close to stabilizing if it was really just Stalkers, and to charge Archon for Neeb as well. But disruptors, well, that was a good follow-up. We have seen more Blink openers in the past couple of months, but That was like a brutal 1-2 punch. I liked it. That's why I don't want to build gateways to the front door in PvP. Are you serious right now? I mean, that is a potential downside. I don't know if you're talking about them getting sniped or blocking the army, but if you're talking about blocking the Archons, actually most gateway wall-offs provide enough for a shield battery to be placed here, so an Archon can also fit through. Neeb actually had a situation where he could only fit like one unit through to block, or a pylon behind, which is a little bit more awkward. Brutal attack. I feel like I want to steal that build and do that. It seems like a more fun way to play PvP as well than sitting back. In the bottom left, being the aggressor, it is MaNa. In top right, as the Protoss in the blue, it is Neeb. And this is more the gateway I was trying to describe. I don't know if he made a mistake last game or has a reason for doing it otherwise, but this actually wouldn't be the first time that someone has pointed out, I guess, Neeb's kind of weirder walls. We say weird walls usually when it's like some weird mishmash of units and structures, and it really is quite odd, but Harsum pointed it out when we were casting Neeb in Stay at Home Story Cup in PvZ, but that the way he did it was like the way I would do it, which is actually incorrect. So you'll see most professional Protoss players do gateway, space, 7x core, gateway, or something along those lines. But they'll put the space in, right? With the first two structures instead of making the space with the last structure. Anyways. Neeb now can fit an Archon through that. Pretty sure, anyways. 2 Adepts versus 2 Stalkers. Neeb might be going for... Yeah, he is. The 6 Adept thing again. It's kind of difficult to scout because the probe really shouldn't be getting back in to see if it's 2 Stalkers... Sorry. Yeah, 2 Stalkers following up 2 Adepts. And as I was saying the last time we saw it from Neeb, it's not really super popular to do anymore. And to get 4 Adepts, I feel like you're going to get 6. Well, we'll see. Goes for a Nexus. MaNa proxying a Robo because PvP. We'll see how the 6 Adept opener works against that, because while I really did think that Shadone is going to have a way to punish Neeb after killing the Adepts as quick as he did, didn't end up happening, but that was off of a 2 base build where you just got a Warp Prism pretty darn quickly. Now we're talking about Neeb potentially, again, quote-unquote, throwing away the 6 Adepts, and then having to deal with a 1 base Robo attack, which is pretty different. With no Nexus scouted, I feel like Neeb doesn't use his Adepts, right? Like, that's gotta be the right call. Even if the Adepts could get into the main base, again, they can bust down a building, just with the 6 Adept power, but it wouldn't really be worth losing the game, which would probably happen, because as time goes on, Adepts do just get worse. They can't shoot up either in case the Warp Prism comes out and starts juggling everything. Now we're up to 8 Adepts. Wow. That's a lot of Adepts. One thing Adepts do have, though, is that they don't get powered down by Immortals like Stalkers would. They don't get out-microed as bad as, like, Zealots would. And Force Fields don't affect them as much because they can actually shade through them. So there's a lot more micro involved when you defend against an Immortal proxy Robo, I guess, with Adepts. It's not usually a situation that we see. And Neeb is actually going to use his Adepts. Now, that building's already done. The Adepts could absolutely kill it, but now he knows exactly what's going on here. Maybe I mean, after that Adept Scout, you would have figured he knew what was going on, but that recall was pretty well timed, as quick as he possibly could be, and he actually forces the Immortal away from the rest of his army. There's just so many more units here from Neeb, and MaNa doesn't have a Warp Prism. There it is. A little bit late to the party, though. That Immortal got very, very low and almost died, too, if that had been blocked off. That feels like a very strong start for Neeb. I was really uncertain as to what the Adept opener would do here, but it actually seems kind of strong. Yeah, we'll see. Shield battery's down, done, and then Immortal's already out. Still has the sentries for Force Fields and Guardian Shield. And MaNa, of course, still on one base, just trying to figure out a way to make things work. Now, the funny thing about this situation is that Adepts do block Adept Shades. Adept Shades block Adept Shades. But, I mean, that requires usually a fair bit of micro. But it's something that MaNa, like, he wants to try and get Neeb to be in the wrong place, make a mistake. Adept Shades in the main base can sometimes do that. Or if they, you know, even if they don't respond to it, you still get 6 probe. That's pretty good. But technically, Neeb could do that. But he also has a probe ready to go. Adept Shades. Also, another good thing about Adept Shades, they get scouting. That's actually, yeah, that's pretty good. See how dedicated they truly are for this. He's sending out Hallucinated Phoenix as well, which is a less force field energy, but it looks like he is good to go. Force fields on force fields, not resulting in too much for either party, but Neeb is in the favor here as time goes on. Immortals in the main base not going to do anything. Units in the natural, I think the sentry died, but the Warp Prism came back to save those, as well as the Immortal. Shield battery is out of juice, and that one Immortal close to dying. This is it, man. MaNa's got to make it work right here. He's out of force fields, warping in a couple of more Adepts himself, but Neeb also getting another Immortal, warping in still pretty reliably on his own, but wow, MaNa's push actually might just win this game. Neeb down. 7 army supply, forced to pull the probes. He does have about 6 to lose and maybe even, and then of course he has a Nexus, so he can really lose more than that. Both of them juggling the Warp Prisms, 3 Immortals to 2. Defender's advantage you'd think would kick in, but after the probes are dead, how much more defender's advantage is there in PvP? Neeb is close to holding, but MaNa so close to winning to just save all these Immortals that are in the red. And Neeb is going to be forced to actually disengage here. He went for a Robotics Bay, however, and he's going to have a Disruptor Shot. This Disruptor Shot would actually kill every single Immortal. There's no shields. It's going to get... How did it not get that one Immortal, by the way? I could have sworn that was in range of the Purification Nova, but it did get the Adepts at the very least. And it's still alive. Neeb definitely shouldn't tap out of this game just because his Nexus got killed. It's still an even economy, but he has superior technology now with that Disruptor. Oh, but he loses an Immortal. One is about to pop out here, but the Disruptor is not going to be enough, and MaNa actually made that work. I really thought that Neeb had that under control. Damn. Well, I'm off today. All right.